Friendo, Steve here.
Larson.
Welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we've got your AEW World's End review. A couple of returns, a couple of really great matches, and then that main event happened also. We're going to talk about that. A couple names backstage also. I know this isn't in the notes and anything, but what do you make of Fightful Select saying that Tom Pestock, Baron Corbin was backstage, man.
Corbin, AJ Francis.
That's right. Top Dollar, my best friend. Yeah.
And then Tyler Breeze. I mean,
Out of all
the
those
show is in
names.
Orlando, and Orlando's like
It's the Mecca.
center of the pro wrestling world, the United States at least. Like,
Everybody's there.
WPC
Everybody's there.
and stuff. Like, so many people live in Orlando, the area, so it would surprise me if people came and visited, said hi.
Out of those names, who would you want to see most in AEW?
I guess probably Baron.
It's got to be Baron. It's got to be Baron. Absolutely. Yeah. So anyway, we didn't do our I had family obligations, Larson. I think that's just sort of our
Let's
that's
do
just
that.
No, come I'm trying to be like transparent. So I'm doing
Like
for the
this
audio
is anything
crowd.
but.
For the audio crowd I'm doing, but y'all know what this means, family obligations. So we didn't watch it live.
Well, that's not true. We did watch it live. We watched it live. We just didn't
watched
do a
it
watch
live.
along.
We didn't do the watch along. Sorry, is what I meant. Different experience. Maybe superior being able to watch the show without engaging with people. Not like WWE shows are just sort of like whatever. It's like they have the match, but give me the soap opera stuff. Hey, you got to pay attention to the match.
You got to pay attention because the match is the story. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the pay-per-view was fine. I thought it was an enjoyable pay-per-view. I thought that there were a couple of misses. But it was all kind of stuff that we kind of saw going into it. Well, so where do you want to start?
The misses are stuff that was missing beforehand anyways.
Exactly. Yeah.
So anything that was set up that I had expectations for or high expectations for delivered. And the things that didn't hit, stuff that hasn't been hit and begin with. So
yeah, it's funny. Like you craft a decent story, and then a good match will pay that story off in a satisfying way.
Yeah,
it's not a difficult template.
Well, let's start with the good, and that would be the Continental Classic. We had the semifinals. We had the final take place all on the show. The Ospreay Fletcher match and Ospreay Okada the final, of course, fantastic bouts.
Oh yeah,
go out of your way to watch those. And even Okada versus Ricochet, while the match wasn't exactly at the same level as Ospreay Fletcher, Ospreay Okada, that was intentional. At least I think so. It was focusing more so on the overall story of the match in the finals, and also Ricochet is obviously focusing a lot more on the character aspect now, as opposed to doing all the high flying stuff that he is more known for. And I feel like for the most part, it's going to pay off, because the angle after he lost to Okada, where Swerve came out, talked trash, Prince Nana was handed toilet paper around to everybody ringside, and they all threw toilet paper at him. And like the shot of him standing in the ring, fuming, just pissed, with toilet paper all around him, was pretty well done. I thought that whole bit was really well done.
I thought it was super effective. And, I think it's funny, dude, like, especially now that we're towards the end of the year, I've noticed that YouTube has been pushing on me through its algorithm. Channels big and small, very similarly themed. Oh, AEW is the rise and fall of AEW. Dynamite is dying. This, that, and the other. And, and my assertion, and people point out a million reasons why there's been a decline in attendance and ratings this year, but the bottom line is you want to keep it simple. It's just you need compelling TV, you need compelling characters, you need compelling stories. You want people to express, I want to tune in next week. Ricochet's been making me do that since he started this new persona. I know it's been a bit on the divisive side amongst the general fan base, or the general wrestling fan base, I should say. I think that there's been more character development and more personality shown via this new character with Ricochet than he did during his entire time in WWE. Somebody pointed out in the Wrestle Juice comments yesterday that Ricochet during his PWG days at times would be a heel. We were there for his match against Lio Rush where he was working that heel. It's highly entertaining stuff. And this is a bit different because you got to do your weekly promos and you got to do your stories. Ricochet's in a really good spot right now because he's Swerve adjacent. And anything Swerve touches, I think turns to gold. I really do think that. And so I'm really interested to see what happens next with Ricochet. He's got tremendous crowd engagement, yet he's still a guy who can, and he's shaking off the WWE stuff bit by bit. I thought this match with Okada was fine. I didn't think it was amazing or anything like that, but the character stuff is there. And we've talked about how wrestlers that buy into stuff like this. And the biggest example is Drew McIntyre 2024, who bought in and was understood what it could mean for his character to be humiliated at WrestleMania, because he's going to have a tremendous 2025 now. And Ricochet is in a similar position. And the question is, are they going to be able to pay it off as effectively?
That's always a question to AEW, obviously.
It really is. And we got to wait and find out. We are at the situation with AEW. And I'll say this, we are in a situation with AEW where you got to wait and see if it pays off, because oftentimes it doesn't. But if they have a plan and a direction, and I'm not going to necessarily say an end point, but at least a point where there is a distinct story beat where people are like, oh, that worked. Now what's next? Then I think he'll be in a really good spot. And I like to think that they have that, because right now I think they're doing really good stuff with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think, the moment at World's End seems like such an obvious pivot point for the Ricochet character, where before, he was kind of a dork. He has an obnoxious laugh. Her Syndicate kind of brushed him off. Now, whether that was
worse than brushed him off,
humiliated.
Yes.
Humiliated him publicly. Now, whether that's going to be something down the line, that's going to be a bit of a plan to, it doesn't seem like at this point, because it seems like we're getting a Ricochet Swerve feud, not them teaming up to take on Her Syndicate. But it seems like the point where perhaps, if I'm reading the situation correctly, and this is the direction they're going, the pivot point where Ricochet is not just a dork. Now he's going to have an edge to him. Now he's going to have to take himself more seriously, and really take things up a notch. And that moment's going to be the motivation for doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
And if it means him getting a program with Swerve and getting vicious, doing something that the Ricochet character, or doing things the Ricochet character is not known for. Maybe he's, we saw a lot of this in the Okada match. There was moments where he was doing his typical offense, but it wasn't exclusively what he was doing. And then if he's going to step away, and it might be, in some respects, wise of him to focus more on character and story and less on doing the high flying stuff, because it's going to prolong his career.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And if he could focus on that and find a way to implement some aspects of that offense into this new character in an organic way, while adding new wrinkles to it, I mean, it's then you're adding dimension to him as a performer, and that's going to make him more interesting.
Yeah, the thing about Swerve as well is nobody understands how to properly and effectively use violence than Swerve Strickland. I think if you look at how he implemented that, obviously most, successfully with Hangman Adam Page, you can see what you can get out of, Well,
it's not just violence for violence sake.
Right, exactly.
It's all motivated by character.
It's all motivated.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And to see that side of Ricochet, I think it'd be very, very interesting. And another thing that Swerve is so good at are the big moments. The big dramatic moments, whether it's going to Nick Wayne's house and brutalizing him there in his feud with Darby, or as we saw with Hangman burning down Swerve's house. He really understands, and whoever he's working with, if it's Will Washington or whoever, they really understand the power of a lasting image. And we saw that at World's End with the toilet paper. He's covered in doo-doo paper. Like, that's tremendous stuff right there. And so it is the kind of thing where I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. And I don't think for a second that Hurt Syndicate is done with all that. I think that's going to play into it. I'm really curious to see how that plays out. And those guys, they need to be, if this turns into a success from a storyline perspective, that they need to be elevated to main event creative. They really
absolutely.
do, because they'll have shown that they understand how to properly book your weekly wrestling programs leading to pay-per-views, which is a problem that AEW has.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if, whatever evolution or transformation Ricochet has as a character now going forward, if that leads him to joining Hurt Syndicate, and if he is kind of their wild card. We saw that with Cedric Alexander in WWE, but that was, I don't know, in the hands of Vince leading creative. It was just as often played for laughs as it was, this guy is an absolute wild card. You don't know what he's going to do,
Yeah.
And if it's a situation where Ricochet is like a wild card, unpredictable, you have no idea what he's going to do.
Yeah.
That could be really interesting.
Well, I mean, that's the great thing, or the great potential here is exactly that. You see how they are booking now Shelton Benjamin the way he should have been booked the entire time in WWE, as a stone cold monster, as, I mean, this dude was tag team partners with Brock Lesnar, and it's like, yeah, he should be the kind of guy who, with one look, he's scary. And that's how they're booking him now. And so you've got that guy. You've got Lashley, who's a completely different, entity. You got MVP, who's a completely different thing. And then you've got this Ricochet, who's, the annoying, cocky, but also, Swerve makes this guy snap. You don't know what he's going to do. The X Factor, like you're talking about, the wild card, loose cannon. All those personalities mixed together, working on the same page, and then down the line, not so much. And that was always the intriguing thing about Cedric Alexander, is that you could tell, like, in his best moments, oh, this guy, he wants the spotlight. And the Hurt Business, they're going to get in the way of that spotlight. And then, of course, like you said, it's under Vince. So you're never going to get that properly paid off. And maybe now with Ricochet in that role, if that's the direction they go, there's a lot of good stuff you can do there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like last year, it seemed like in some respects, the Continental Classic kind of focuses Tony Khan on what AEW does best. And that is the kind of not the large, if you want to call it that, stories like the Death Riders thing, even anything like MJF and Adam Cole, where they're trying to bring in a bunch of people in. It's the interpersonal stories, and how those stories play out during the matches. Back from their inception, I always thought that's what AEW, when they were doing things right, really does the best. Is the stories of interpersonal dynamics and how that plays out in the wrestling ring. And sometimes I understand they want to expand the scope of their story somewhat. Whether that's just to tell different stories or try to appeal to more wrestling fans or a broader audience, I don't know. But to see two every year, you see that because that's the focus of it. Yeah. And as it played out specifically at World's End, in the 3 matches, I thought all of them had their strengths, and 2 of them were absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ospreay versus Fletcher was quite as good as their Full Gear match. It didn't have the same amount of time, but in terms of the story told there, playing into the overall story of the Continental Classic, brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
And as mentioned, the Ricochet Okada match was supposed to be kind of the opposite of that, where it was kind of an easy day's work for Okada in the semifinal match. He looked like he barely broke a sweat against Ricochet.
Yeah.
And so it sets up the image of Will Ospreay looking like he got hit by a train, versus Okada, who looks like he's fresh, like this is his first match of the night. And you get that dichotomy, that image, and have an Ospreay. He had that promo early on the show. It's like, all right, fans, I need you to will me through this match. I mean, that's number one babyface stuff right there, And he pulls it off on the mic, and he pulls it off in the ring. There's literally moments where he's peeling himself off the mat, telling the crowd, come on.
Yeah, especially with that crowd, which was not a great crowd. Yeah, no, I agree. And, I don't know how this Death Riders thing is going to play out. I think if I had to power rank my top guys who I'd want to see concluded, like Ospreay probably makes the most sense in terms of the guy to take the title off. If they're going to Roman Reigns Mox, you know, it seems like they're going to do Mox Edge at Revolution and not Mox Darby. So they are going to make this last a little bit longer.
So, you know, it might actually be a situation where they're going to wait till All In to have someone beat Mox. The huge stadium show in July. So maybe, I don't know, maybe because Darby got attacked by the Death Riders on Collision or Rampage or something is why he wasn't on.
Oh, it was the end of Rampage. Yeah. I think
Rampage.
I think
He got attacked and laid out. So at the least to write him off of World's End. But I don't know. Maybe Darby wants to try to do the Mount Everest thing before winning the title. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's sort of turned into like a running joke. Like, is that actually going to happen? Is he actually going to do that? I don't know. Scary business. I've seen it.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Scary business.
Absolutely.
Just imagine he's up there and he has to get like down on this other level. He does a coffin drop. In my mind, he's just doing it in his like wrestling gear, which is like, you know, tights and like some shorts.
His pink hoodie on.
Yeah.
It's up there. It's like, you know, minus 20 degrees.
He's like bleeding for some reason. He's got his face paint on too.
Yeah. All that.
Makes all the sense in the world. Hey, let's talk about this really quick. We got a couple channel memberships here. So we're going to shout them out. Fazzy Wazzy, member for 59 months.
Wow.
Says 1 month away from 5 years. Wow. That's crazy. Patrick Cheeseman, been a member for 19 months, says, Larson, if I lose the Friendo fantasy football title to Kaufman because AJ Brown sucks, I'll curse. He's going to curse the Eagles. He's going to put a curse on them.
AJ scored a touchdown.
Then Jay Smooth here, been a member for 16 months, says, hey, Friendo's fun pay-per-view main event just didn't hit for me. We're going to talk about that main event here in a moment.
Yeah.
And then Nikyle here has become a Friendo Club member as well. Dude, listen, I've got one goal for 2025, and it's a very simple one. I want 500 Friendos in the WrestleMania Predictions Challenge. We got an ace up our sleeve. Isn't that what they say? Yeah, ace up our sleeve.
Yeah.
That I think is going to get them there, but we're not announcing that just yet. However, we do have a brand new Big Blue Predictions champion, Larson. You were 2 points down off the lead heading into this.
I was 3 points away from
3 points. Wait, heading into it, you were 3 down?
I thought it was 3. Maybe I was 2.
All right. You're very close.
I was in second place.
You were in second place. And throughout this thing, you were in the lead. Larson, I want to say congratulations to our new predictions champion, Hawks, Greats, and Games, who will be the recipient of this amazing Big Blue predictions hat. I am legitimately bummed that you didn't win, though, because
you
on
should
Friday,
blame yourself because you jinxed the whole thing.
That's on me. This Friday, we're going to be doing our Friendo Awards right here together next to each other. And I was hoping to do the big coronation to put this on your head.
You know, if Hangman had just eaten that goddamn pin in the main event, you'd have had that opportunity.
Would you have been tied at that point?
No, I would have won. Outright.
You had how many on?
Because I had a lot on Hangman eating that pin.
You had
I was
4.
Yeah.
And you
I
ended
actually
up
messed
3
up. I meant to
down?
have 4 on Kenny return and 2 on Hangman, but still that wouldn't have been enough to overcome Hawks, Greats, and Games. So congratulations to Hawks, Greats, and Games.
Hawks, Greats, and Games.
He was in the lead going into World's End. So
I'm going to send this out shortly. I've got the other one, Shock Charisma here, just waiting to go. It's all packaged up, ready to go. I'm going to get those out in the mail today. But yeah, this is going out. And the next one. So for January, we've got obviously Raw Netflix premiere. Probably only be like 3 or 4 like big matches there because right now there's 3. You might add
and then Saturday night main event. That's it, I think.
Saturday night main event.
Because there's no pay-per-views in January.
Isn't Fight for the Fallen in January? When's that?
Oh, that's right. That's the first.
Is that this coming Wednesday?
Yeah.
Oh wow, it's only days away.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know. Today's Monday. I don't know if Cody will be able to get that shit done in time.
Yeah.
So okay, we'll just have Cody load up the props.
I mean, there is Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty.
Oh wow, Yeesh, that's a lot. It just in terms of like we don't. Here's the thing about predictions. We don't keep up with that shit.
I know.
So like I don't know. At
Could
that
make it
point,
interesting.
it just turns into like throwing shit at a dartboard. I like when there's a little bit of
I mean, Cody
actual,
makes a good point. Dynasty is technically an AEW pay-per-view. It's a joint show between New Japan.
Is
and
Cody
AEW.
here?
Yeah, Cody's here.
Cody's with us. All right.
Yeah.
If Cody says, then Cody does. Cody, if you want to put together the thing for Wrestle Dynasty, I am down to do Wrestle Dynasty. Friendos are gonna have to. You guys are gonna have to do your whole your research, man, and that's okay. That's good. That's good. So yeah, there is a new hat. It's already been designed. I'm trying to look for it to see if I have an actual image of it. I know I had one somewhere. You've seen it.
Oh, you did
Larson.
send me the new design. Yes, you did.
I
Yeah,
sent
it's
you
good.
the design.
It's good.
It's good. No, this is my best one yet. This is in my opinion, it's my best one yet. The
good.
Big Boom one is good too, but this one's a really good one.
Yeah.
So,
Boom was good.
but heading into April, because you can never do this stuff too soon. I want 500 friendos to participate. This time we had like 208, I think.
Yeah.
For the month of December. But man, WrestleMania. But here's the thing: we got a prize. It's not just a hat. We got a hat. I'll make the hat. But a bigger prize for the WrestleMania challenge.
More valuable prize.
A lot of people are going to want to get in on the WrestleMania Predictions Challenge. And if you want to start figuring out how these prediction challenges work and you haven't done it yet, it's real easy to get in on the January one. Get in now because all these things are coming up very shortly. And the way to do it is by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson, clicking on the Friendo Club setup there. Or you can click join right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Patrick Cheeseman, no, it is not cash money. No. I mean, you could sell
Cody
this
says
thing.
we had 315 last year for Mania.
I want 500.
Yeah, it's only it's less than 200 more.
It is, exactly. Yeah. So, big deal. So yeah, be sure to check that out. Anyways,
so let's also talk about Mercedes versus Statlander before we move on to talk about that main event. Mercedes versus Statlander, their last match at Full Gear was awesome, and they may have eclipsed it with their match at World's End. Officially the longest women's match in AEW history, about 24 and a half minutes long. It was in many respects a continuation of the story set up in their prior match, where Mercedes just throws everything she has at Statlander. Can't keep Statlander down and has to use some sort of crazy pinning combination to get the win, which is what happened at World's End. And then I think Statlander afterwards had a social media promo saying, she's been good for a long time. Now it's time for her to be great. Mm-hmm. Both Ospreay and Statlander, I thought, in defeat, came out looking amazing.
Yeah, they did.
The reception that crowd gave Statlander after that loss. Mm-hmm. So, it's obvious that Tony Khan is a fan of Chris Statlander and wants to do a lot with her. Mm-hmm. I don't know how Willow and maybe them reuniting plays into all that. I don't know. But man, hell of a showing for both Mercedes and Chris Statlander. And if they want to do a trilogy, I would not be upset about it.
Yeah. It's a funny situation because I feel like Tony Khan probably wants the longer term story here with Willow getting the title off of Mercedes. Because like in a longer term, that makes sense. That first match and then this one, that crowd didn't get up this time around. That crowd did not get up for much. They got up for this because this match was so awesome. And the way that finish was constructed, the crowd cheered because it was so damn good. But you got to wonder, man, should this have been the time? I thought part of the reason they did the sequel was because the first one was so good, but also maybe it was like the old Acclaim,
in Our Glory acclaimed, yeah,
where it was like, oh man, we probably should have done the title change there, and they didn't hear, and that's fine. We got like a great match out of it, and like you said, they told a proper sequel story, but you have to wonder, where does that leave Statlander? She does look really good coming out of this, but what else is there for her to do in a company that doesn't really feature women all that prominently? Because if she's not gonna go, if she's not gonna get to the, if they do a third one, it's gotta be her getting the title.
You'd think so, yeah.
You know, if it's a situation where, hey, they're gonna tell a really killer story with her, then awesome. You know, I just hope that they eke out some TV time for her because she is absolutely terrific. She really is. She's really terrific.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Stellar match. Stellar match. All right, let's talk about this main event. Oh, goodness. So, where do you even start? I saw a lot of sentiment after this match, the people echoing what we've been saying for weeks, that this Death Rider story just ain't hitting. You know, and if it... Gosh, where do you even start? Too much interference, and not interesting ways. I felt like the wrong person ate the pin in terms of advancing story. It felt short.
Yeah.
It felt kind of inconsequential.
That was exactly the word I was about to use. Inconsequential is the word.
It felt like hey, we have an obligation to get this match out of the way so we can do the post match angle. That's what it really felt like.
It was let's get this match out of the way, and even in a broader sense, let's get this match out of the way so that these three title contender guys won't have an opportunity again. They don't have like a case to make now, I guess. And I thought that would have been like a better case to make if like Hangman ate the pin.
Mm-hmm.
Jay White eating the pin. I mean, yeah, I don't know. This was not, this whole story with Mox and the rest of the dudes was not the best case to be laid down for the effectiveness of the Death Rider storyline. It really isn't. You can't look at this and say, yeah, their main event scene's killing it right now. They've effectively made, I think, a lot of people just not give a shit about their main event scene. And dude, you think that Okada Omega is going to happen at All In, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, they were staying there and the sign was behind them, so yeah.
Right. Which means that, yeah, the main event for Revolution is going to be Mox and Edge. For a second, I was like, are they doing Okada Omega at Revolution because they think Mox Edge isn't a big enough main event? But yeah, you look at the sign, it's like, okay, makes sense. And they need to sell tickets for that.
Mox will lose the title at All In. You'll have Kenny and Okada there as well, for sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Right. Unless they spread out the love and they do, you know, they can carry this Mox thing.
Oh, they need to sell some tickets, man. They're going to load that show up.
Yeah, I think they will too. I just don't know, like, what you think Mox Darby is going to be. Do you think that's going to be the thing, or is it going to be Ospreay? It's probably going to be Darby. Anyways.
I mean, they set everything up for Darby to be the one to beat Mox.
I know.
You know, as you said earlier, I could think of at least 5 people that I'd probably rather have in terms of making sense from a story perspective and whatnot. But,
like, I don't know. They've kind of killed a lot of this. Just doesn't. It's just nobody's getting anything out of this, I don't think.
Nope.
You know, it's just he's holding on to this thing. He's carrying around in an attaché case, and it's kind of a mess. Nobody really looks strong. Nobody looks good.
Well, the creative behind it's not strong. It's all still this nebulous stuff. Oh, he's fighting to redefine what AEW is. Well, what is that?
Dude, honestly, at this point, I don't even care. I just, you know, like even give us a good match. It's AEW's look. Even if you don't have it on a story, give us a good match. This was a fucking mess.
It was.
This was a mess.
Like it mattered. Yeah. I mean, when you start the match and it kind of turns into like, oh, are they going to make this match a 6-man tag match?
Yeah.
You know, because it starts off with the brawl because Death Riders get involved right away.
Yeah.
And so you got this brawl where it goes all the way throughout the arena. And we knew going in the story is going to be, well, if Team AEW can work together, one of them can get the title off Mox. But, of course, individual ambition is going to get in the way of that. We knew that was the story coming into it. I didn't necessarily feel like that story was terribly well told.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right, yeah.
You know, he had the obvious spots where they're all circling around Mox. They all take some boots to him. Mox is on the floor doing this like he's selling some kicks. And
he's just and you look at his face and he's just sort of like waiting for the next spot to happen because he's like this.
There's another moment.
He's like three dudes are kicking the shit out of him. He's doing this.
There was a spot later on where Mox literally just stood there, turned around. I think it was when Hangman gave him one of the dead eyes. where he just stood there waiting for Paige to give him a dead eye.
Honestly, like, it feels like this had no advanced preparation.
No,
It was, hey, let's just go out there. We'll call it all on the fly. We've got 15 minutes. We can go anywhere with it. We'll have the dudes come in and.
I mean,
and
there
do
was some, like when I think Orange Cassidy,
the Shield powerbomb was good.
yeah, that was good. And when
rough.
Orange had I think it was Orange, had the pin on Mox, and Hangman pulled him off the pin. Like, it felt like the story was gonna be maybe Team AEW, which they're not a team; they don't get along. But the idea that the three, again, this is the whole idea. Like, there's a line in the sand drawn between Death Riders and the rest of AEW. It doesn't really feel that way.
No, it doesn't.
So it was odd to say Team AEW versus Mox when there's no cohesiveness between them. But that's the point. Anyways, It felt like Paige was going to be the grenade in the middle of all that. That's going to, whatever advances that the AEW guys were going to make, Hangman was going to screw it all up and lead to Mox retaining.
Yeah.
It didn't really feel that way.
It didn't feel that way. No, it didn't.
That's something that I know. Maybe they didn't want to do that because that's what Hangman does all the time. He's driven 1,000% by emotion as opposed to logic, reason, or strategy. And maybe they just want to do something different. I don't know. But if it's a situation where Hangman's motivation is, I need to win this match, so I'm champion, therefore Swerve is not. And yet it's another instance where he is the reason that he comes up short. Well, that's going to nod him even more.
Yeah. Not the strongest main event. And then you got Mox. I'm sorry, you got Edge TR coming out at the end.
Rated R FTR.
Rated, what's that? Rated FTR?
R FTR.
Oh, it should be rated FTR. That makes
they didn't do that.
Wait, they did rated R FTR.
Yeah.
That's way too much.
Should be.
That's
like
I thought
two, rated FTR. I know.
That's two syllables too many. And it's going to be good. The fight for the fallen stuff is really important, and I think that's awesome that they're doing like a thing for that.
Mm-hmm.
But and I like Edge and everything, but I do think that 2025 really needs to be the year where AEW ends 2025 with their future at the top. Mox can't be at the top. He can't be in the featured main event stuff. Edge can't be in the featured main event stuff. Even Kenny can't be in the featured main event stuff. I love Kenny. I think he's great. But and I would never say no to another Omega Okada match, but it ain't 2017 anymore.
Yeah.
And you've got these guys, they need to be your, man, I think AEW's in a terrific position with their talent. But like the Swerves, the Hangmans, the Jay Whites, the Okadas,
The Ospreys,
and especially the Ospreys.
I'd toss Kyle Fletcher in there at this point too.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Yeah.
Those need to be the perpetual main eventers. Those have got to be, and I know people will be like, oh, that's not the same. But like, that's got to be, your philosophy right now needs to be, you're coming off of a 1996 if you're in the WWF. You need to have that killer 1997 to launch you into that 1998. And it takes some good storylines to do it.
It does.
The talent is there, though. They got the talent.
You listen to the reactions that Swerve's been getting off, like out of the arena, backstage segments.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've read stuff on social media that inside the arena, you can't hear anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the reaction Swerves are getting are so loud. Watch the reaction, like the response Ospreay got just at World's End.
I know.
Those are two dudes you build your company around. At the end of this year, you got to build your company around them, around Kyle Fletcher, around heck, even Darby. At least he's like a homegrown AEW guy.
Yeah.
And Willow and Tony Storm,
Statlander, and
Statlander.
Exactly.
Those are the people you got to build your company around heading into 2026.
They need to
market your company around them.
The Takeshita's, the Hobbs, because they had a killer match too.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Main event, not good. Anyways, we can just get into it. Show opened up with Ospreay versus Fletcher. Semi-final match for the Continental Classic. And, we could toss out a bunch of superlatives. This match was fantastic.
Boy,
a really effective
Fletcher's
use of
had
blood.
A killer second half of the year.
Yeah. Really effective use of blood here, where Ospreay gets busted open early after Fletcher sends him into the barricade. Not just in terms of how it relates to this match, knowing Fletcher's already got a win over Ospreay, but how it could play out and how it evidently or eventually did play out in the C2 final against Okada. Just a lot of really, really, really good stuff here. I could just list a bunch of moves, but in the end, Ospreay gets the win after a Styles clash, after he reversed into a power bomb. I like that he won with a move that's not typically his finisher.
Yeah.
A move that kind of came out of nowhere. He hits it, gets the win. So then he hits Okada with the Styles clash in the final. A move that normally in Ospreay's repertoire, you think, all right, not going to get a pin here. When they have the false finish there, makes you get up. Think that Ospreay's going to win. Anyways, fantastic match. Go out of your way to watch it. Then we get the other C2 semifinal, Ricochet versus Okada, as mentioned earlier. Ricochet, so much of this match was him responding to the crowd and him trying to talk crap back. There was a lot of rest holds early on, especially in this match, but that was because I felt like it was giving Ricochet an opportunity to respond to the crowd as opposed to, we need to take a breather here.
I agree with that. It felt very WWE-ish, but yeah, I'm not going to. Well, I didn't give this the best star rating. We already record our star ratings. We're gonna put them up later on today. But yeah, I think it was. I like the character work from Ricochet, and Okada played it up pretty well too.
He did, in that spot where he runs the rope and slaps.
That was hilarious. Boy, that
Ricochet
was
in the back of the head. That was great. So the finish of this one saw Ricochet hit a shooting star press. He's calling for the spirit gun. Okada evades that. It hits Ricochet with a drop kick. Ricochet's looking for another spirit gun, but then Okada reverses that to a Flosion, followed by a Rainmaker to get the win. And just as Ricochet is about getting himself off the mat after eating the L, Swerve's music hits. He gets on the mic and says, "Congrats for making it this as far as I did in the C2, but if memory serves me correctly, you said you were going to win. So me being a man of my word, I said if you blew it, which you just did, I was going to embarrass you. Ever since you stepped foot here, you've run your mouth. Interviews, social media. You said if it weren't for you, AEW wouldn't even exist. So what I'm saying is, you're talking a lot of mess, Ricochet, and I got to clean up your mess. And you know what's the best way to clean up a mess? And so Prince Nana brings down a wheelbarrow just full of toilet paper. And so he starts walking around ringside and handing it out. And so Swerve says, everyone in the front row, we want to help Ricochet, right? We want a clean slate for Ricochet, right? We're going to forget 2024, move on to 2025. With the instruments presented to you, we're going to wish Ricochet a happy new year. On the count of three.
Instruments, that's so great.
That was so good. On the count of three, we're going to wish Ricochet a happy new year. 1, 2, 3, happy new year. And everybody just throws their rolls of toilet paper in the ring, and Ricochet's just covered with toilet paper.
And the great thing is, too, you could see how number one, a couple of these toilet paper throwers did such a great job because it's like perfectly draped like a scarf over Ricochet.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there seething. And you can tell Swerve was having such a good time with this because it worked out so effectively. It was because, maybe you just don't know how, the trajectory of toilet paper is going to work when you have 20 people throwing it in there, but it worked out so perfectly. And it was just a really, really effective segment. And I fully expect Ricochet just to basically stab the guy next time he sees him. Like, this is going to get violent, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
Same. So Swerve says, Happy New Year, Trevor. Yeah, as Ricochet's just, oh gosh, he's just fuming in the ring.
Yeah.
So they were backstage, and Renee is interviewing Will Ospreay, and he says,
"It looks like he's been shot in the head."
Oh, he's got like half crusty blood, and some of it's still running down his face.
Yeah.
So he says, "I don't look too bad, do I? I understand they got to clean me up, but it doesn't matter." He says to the crowd, he's like, "I don't want them to clean me up," he says essentially. And he says, "All right, crowd, I need you to carry me through this. I need you to remind me I could do this for everyone here who lives for this shit. I may have felt like I've been hit by a truck, but this is my mentor, my big brother. When I beat Okada, I'm going to Disney World. And in the words of Tony Khan, let's fucking go."
Let's fucking go, lads. Yeah, that was awesome. That was really good.
Yeah. Then after that, we had the Tijuana street fight. Thunder Rosa challenging Mariah May for the AEW Women's title. It's kind of a bummer that the AEW Women's World Championship is now the secondary title in the women's division. This match I thought was solid. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's kind of like 1A, 1B because Tony's gonna go at. Tony's gonna get this thing at. Because here's the thing: you're not gonna be able to say that when Tony has it and when Mercedes have it. If they
I know.
have it at the same time.
I'm not saying it. This is written in stone. It's obviously a fluid situation. But ever since Mariah May has won the title, she has not been featured prominently on TV as.
She's been on Collision and not Dynamite.
Yeah,
They've been. You know what though? I will say this. It does feel like lately there's been a bit more of an effort to make there's stuff on Collision. I'm like, damn, I missed that. Like this was a pay-per-view match. Dude, when's the last time they had a pay-per-view match built on Collision almost exclusively? It doesn't happen very often, or at least not very prominently. And so they're putting effort into Collision.
Yeah.
They're trying to get people to watch it because right now not a lot of people are watching Collision. The numbers are terrible for it.
I mean, Okada only had one of his C2 matches on Dynamite.
Yeah.
All the other ones were on Collision.
Yeah. So them trying to make a reason for people to watch Collision, I get it. That's what we ask for. That's what we want them to do.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And Thunder Rosa, she was one of the, building blocks of AEW pretty early on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting once Tony gets that title off of Mariah. But it feels like a 1A, 1B situation. It's not exactly like it's a
the TBS title is the 1A though in that situation.
Yeah, because a big deal has it because Mercedes has it.
This match was pretty good. I just felt like there was maybe if the women's title was the top title in the division, this match would have been given more time, and maybe they would have been able to do more things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that's a one-to-one thing, like time equals the opportunity to do more things, because obviously in a 12-minute match, you can do all sorts of stuff in a 12-minute match.
Yeah,
I'm saying it's a combination of the two. It felt like there was some good stuff, but the finish was awesome. But also felt like
the finish was great.
They could have given the opportunity, maybe they could have done more with it. But anyways.
Yeah, there was also it was just a bit on the slow side also. Like there wasn't, I'll put it this way, I didn't feel like there was that much of a sense of urgency in something called the Tijuana Street Fight.
Yeah.
And because of that, and because the crowd was sort of being difficult anyways, like the crowd got up for stuff that the wrestlers really had to work for.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying they didn't work hard in this match, but like it had more of a leisurely pace than I think a street fight should have.
Yeah, no, the urgency wasn't where it felt like it needed to be for a street fight. Thunder Rosa's dad was sitting ringside.
Yeah.
He played the match a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Like Mariah was giving him shit, and he barely he barely reacted to that. He was just like, "Oh, this is fun."
So the finish here, Thunder Rosa's choking out May with some chain. And so Mariah May finds a bag in the ring, and inside is some dirt from a cemetery, I believe is what they said.
Yeah.
And so she throws that dirt in Thunder Rosa's face, and then Pyle drives her off the apron through a table set up on the floor to get the win.
Yeah, that bit was great. The dirt throwing, like, Thunder Rosa kind of no-sold it a bit. Like she didn't make a big reaction to it. I'll put it that way.
The first, I think there was a little missed time because when Mariah first threw it, she kind of did a no look, and it missed Thunder Rosa, and so when she finally turned around and watched it, or looked behind her and threw it in her face, I think the timing was a little off.
Yeah,
but a solid bout. Next match, not so solid here. We have the Dynamite Diamond Ring match, MJF versus Adam Cole. This story has been a mess ever since Cole came back.
Boy, yeah.
It's been listless in terms of crowd reaction. Seemingly no one really gives a shit. And the match follows suit in that respect because I said this before. When they kind of lined up the heel face dynamic when Cole came back, it seemed off because it was Adam Cole who had turned on MJF, and he comes back after being gone a year and is like, "Oh, I'm a babyface now." And
they tried to do that thing on Collision. They had a promo where he was like, "Oh, you were going to turn on me." He was like, "Yeah, I was going to turn on you," but I don't know.
Regardless, so you have someone who has already stabbed MJF in the back, trying to be the babyface. And you have Kyle O'Reilly beefing with Adam Cole because Kyle's worried about all their friends getting hurt because Cole's obsession with getting to MJF. But we never really see that obsession. We don't see it. We hear Adam Cole talk about it. We don't see it.
Yeah.
And back, I think I mentioned this after their match when Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly had their match. Adam Cole should have cheated. He should have beat the shit out of Kyle O'Reilly, left him bloody to win that match.
Mm-hmm.
To show, not tell us, to show us that he will do anything to get this match with MJF and to beat him. And likewise, in this match, I thought it'd been way more interesting if Adam Cole had got up to the Kingdom and said, I want that ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're all, oh, gosh, he's our friend. We want to help at the same time. We're supposed to guard this. This is what Tony Khan told us to do. Like, give us that, Adam Cole. That's
Yeah.
more interesting.
On the other hand, at the end, so Adam Cole tries to use the diamond ring because Max gets his hands on it. Cole
He does the thing where he slams his hands in the ring steps and the ref's not looking and bumps and says, oh, they sent me into the ring steps. And the ref didn't see it, but threw Kingdom out anyways. Yeah.
Right. Well, he blames the Kingdom, and then he gets the ring. Cole super kicks him, gets the ring off him. When the Kingdom sees that, they jump up on the apron to distract the ref even further. Adam Cole tries to hit MJF with it. MJF hits the low blow and then a heat seeker. Ref turns around. MJF gets the win. MJF tries to leave. And like he's in the wrong, I guess, because number one, he's a bad guy, but also like Adam Cole tried to use the ring on him. And then so he tries to leave. Or Roderick Strong comes out. Oh, that's right, because MJF is about to blast he's going to Pillmanize the leg. And so he's got the leg in the chair. He's like, I'm going to break his fucking leg. And you can hear everything he says because the crowd's dead. And then Roderick Strong, because they're like, just be done with this feud. And Roderick Strong comes down to save the leg. And then MJF beats feet. He goes up. Kyle O'Reilly comes down to head him off, brings him back in. And then you got like 5 guys beating the shit out of the bad guy, I guess. Who like pose. It's not like it's a Brock Lesnar, it's a little MJF. So he doesn't really pose a threat. They're beating the shit out of the guy. And they're all happy and they're hugging and everybody's happy again. You know, man, if they just leave this, leave it. Just leave MJF, go shoot another movie. And we get, you know, Undisputed Era type shenanigans, but with Bennett and Taven as well. I'm on board. I want to see these guys be kind of heelish, but also charming, you know, funny dudes. Do that, vignettes. Do that. And I'll be fine with all this shit.
Why was Kyle suddenly cool with Adam Cole?
Who cares? They're friends. They've got such great chemistry. Didn't you listen to
weeks and weeks where Kyle was like, nah, screw you, dude. You're getting all your friends hurt.
Didn't you listen to Excalibur just talking endlessly?
I don't listen to him.
And how can you not? It's just, I get exhausted listening to him talk sometimes, especially when they cut to commentary and he's just talking, and he's doing it under that mask. And I'm like, God, I'm getting so claustrophobic watching this guy talk so much, say so little. And then you hear JR, oh my, wow, this guy reminds me of Luthez.
Let's talk about Will Ospreay, by the way.
This guy carries himself like Luthez.
Oh, man.
What, JR? What are you talking about?
I don't know. This whole thing was a mess to begin with. There's probably more interesting ways they could have went about putting the story together that actually might have gotten the crowd involved, the fan base involved, as opposed to them just waiting for it to be over. Because that's what it felt like.
You see that clip that Matthew from Botchamania posted where he caught Tony's cell phone going off during Excalibur calling a match? Excalibur sort of stumbles. And he's like, oh, there's your cell phone going off. Remember that time JR was on?
Oh, he was lit. The camera was on commentary. Tries to put the phone up to his headset.
Puts the phone up to his ear, to his headset. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That was hilarious. Anyways, after that, great match: Powerhouse Hobbs versus Takeshita for the International Championship. Man, this was so good. This match got the crowd involved because there were some really good false finishes here.
This match was awesome, dude. This match was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So early on, Takeshita's working over Hobbs' knee. Tore his patella tendon. It's the injury he's coming back from. Mm-hmm, of course, the whole story is, Hobbs, of course, Callis family member hurt his knee. Apparently, Don never called him, never reached out to him. Hobbs came back. What the heck, Don? We have beef now. Hence
Yeah, I don't
this
care
match.
about any of that. I just want this match. That's the stupidest story. You never called me. I don't care though. Give me this match. This match was awesome.
It was really good. It was really good. Let's see where to pick up here. So Takeshita hits a superplex, follows with a swanton, runs into a spine buster though. Takeshita kicks out. So then Hobbs. Let's see here. Takeshita rakes Hobbs in the eye, but Hobbs hits an avalanche power slam, but holds his knee. And then Hobbs takes the brace off.
He did such a phenomenal job selling that knee. I was like, oh fuck, he's gonna finish. He had me going here.
Yeah.
I was like, he looks like a guy who's gonna grit out this match, the finish of this match, and he's gonna be out for 9 months. That's the level of. He did such a good job. Like, let me get this brace off. I'm like, oh my god, he's fucked.
Yeah.
He did such a good job, dude.
He did. So Hobbs takes it off, setting up for a spine buster, but then Takeshita kicks him in the knee, hits an elbow, a running knee, and locks on a guillotine and lets that go, hits the Falcon Arrow to get the win. Just phenomenal match. And every time they put Hobbs in a high-profile situation, he delivers.
Oh, he does. Absolutely does.
Makes it all more of a bummer that when he won the TNT titles because he was aligned with QT Marshall.
Dude, I swear I heard somebody on commentary say he's looking to get his first singles title. And I was like, he won the TNT title.
Well, it's sort of like when someone on commentary said, oh, maybe Kenny will be ready for in-ring competition soon. I'm like, homie, he's wrestling in 8 days.
We just don't know if Kenny Omega's going to be, when he's going to be cleared to wrestle. Well, he's wrestling in 8 days, Tony.
Yeah.
Pick up your phone, man. Maybe it's Tony Khan calling you, telling he's going to be ready in 8 days. You see Gabe Kidd go off because he was like, this dude comes back. They got a co-promoted match in 8 days, and they're not promoting that.
I know.
Oh, man.
I know. Then we got for the TBS Championship, Mercedes Moné taking on Chris Statlander. Match was fantastic. Go out of your way to watch it.
Man, this is good.
Fantastic. So much good stuff, especially towards the end on the floor. They do such interesting, creative stuff on the floor. We've seen the bit where someone's got their foot jammed into like the structure of the ring. And the Mercedes follows that with the Meteora. And it follows the story. Mercedes is throwing everything she has at Statlander. Can't pin her in the ring. She's like, I got to go for a count out. That's the only way I'm going to win at this point. And even that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that shot where Mercedes thinks she has Statlander beaten, leaning against the rope, waiting for the ref to count to 10. Statlander slides in, just beating the 10 count. Really good TV direction there.
Amazing TV direction, man. I mentioned this in our star ratings, but yeah, I'm generally not a fan of two things: the hot tag and making the 10 count barely, because 9 times out of 10 they struggle. They look like they're dead up until 9. And at like 11, they jump in and the ref is cool with it. This is a situation, and the entire time the camera's on the person trying to struggle to get in. So it just looks stupid.
Yeah.
In this case, it was as if the TV direction felt that it was too late for Statlander to get in. So they went to Mercedes to basically for the formality of like, oh no, she's going to be counted out. Statlander flies in from out of nowhere. And it's like, oh, great. I didn't see somebody who was basically unconscious jump up and jump into the ring.
Yep.
And I thought it was a really, really effective use of television direction.
It really was. And there was a spot also that referenced how Mercedes beat her the first time. This time Statlander did it. So after Statlander slides into the ring, Mercedes puts a bank statement on. Statlander's crawling towards the ropes, so Mercedes switches up to an STF. Statlander gets to the ropes. Mercedes screams no. Monet hits a slap. Statlander responds with the lariat, but it gets caught in an ankle lock. They trade some pins, and then Mercedes hit this crazy. It was kind of like a crucifix pin, but then she grabbed the leg too.
Yeah, this was an awesome pinning combo.
To finally get the win. Just fantastic stuff. Great back and forth. Just, gosh, this was good.
It was terrific. It was absolutely terrific. Yeah.
Also terrific. Will Ospreay versus Okada C2 final. late contender for match of the year.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely had the feeling of a G1 final match. Especially that finishing sequence. You know, we've seen Ospreay and Okada have a lot of great segments in their matches. Even going back to that finishing sequence Okada and Carl Anderson had their G1 final all those years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
Very reminiscent of that, where it's just counter, 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 counter. Can someone get a finisher off? I think Ospreay is the first person to kick out of a Rainmaker in AEW.
I think he is.
Yeah, because they've been treating that.
They've been, it's been one and done. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Okada kicks out of a Stormbreaker.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, Ospreay is teasing the Tiger Driver, but Okada counters that with a kind of like a short arm lariat, not a full on Rainmaker. They're both selling. Okada maintains wrist control. Will hits a kick, and then Okada hits another Flosion, I think, and then into a Rainmaker to get the win. And earlier on, Ospreay hits the Styles Clash, but because he won with that earlier in the night, you think, oh gosh, you could do it here. No. Rainmaker kicks out. Fantastic match. Go your way to watch it.
Yeah, just an absolutely terrific match, and to have that back to back with the Monet match, just really, really good stuff. So after the match, that scrub Christopher Daniels comes out, congratulates him. He says, "Normally this is where I present you with the title, but I can't do this because as of now, I'm no longer an EVP for AEW. Pay cut for the higher power, Larson."
Yeah, the fired power.
And then Kenny's music hits, and Okada looks genuinely happy to see him, to see his old friend. So Kenny comes out, it looks like $1 million, wearing a nice suit, gets in there, faces off with Okada. Okada raises up his title after Kenny gives it to him.
They're framed facing off with the All-In sign behind them. So
with the All-In graphic. Yeah. Got to sell some of those tickets in Tejas, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then our main event, you have Jay White.
Hangman that really was the main event, to be honest.
It felt like the main event.
That was pretty much the main event right there.
Jay White, Hangman Adam Page, Orange Cassidy taking on Jon Moxley for the AEW title. He had Patriarchy sitting in one luxury box. He had Hook sitting in another. Again, this match was kind of meh. Didn't feel like I said, you knew what the story was going to be.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the most effective telling of that story. So you get this stretch where Page will hit everyone with a buckshot, but then Orange Cassidy hit everybody with an orange punch, and then Jay White hit everybody with a Blade Runner, including Maria Shafir. But after that happens, Wheeler, who interferes a shit ton in this match, hits a D+ on Jay. Mox follows with a Death Rider. I believe we had a couple of ref bumps earlier in this match. Claudio puts the ref in. Mox covers. He gets the win. I'm still trying to wrap my head around why Jay White was the one eating the pin here.
Oh, man, he got hit with the Death Rider.
I know in terms of the mechanics of the match. In terms of the stories being told, Steve.
Oh, man, because nobody kicks out of the Death Rider, buddy. Oh, man.
So anyways, afterwards, they're about to beat the shit out of everybody. The Death Riders are. TR music hits. Lights go out. Cope's back.
Cope!
Got Adam Copeland.
Mullet Cope.
What?
Mullet Cope.
Yeah, it is a bit of a mullet. So they cut to the luxury box, and Christian, he's not happy that Edge is back. He tells Patriarchy, all right, we're out of here.
Yeah.
Because throughout the main event, he's holding up his contract like, hey, I got this, even though he's like up in the luxury box.
He's like, this main event sucks. Let's get out of here.
I know. Here, I'll cash in and hopefully make this match better. So we get this brawl between Rated R, FTR, and the Death Riders. We get a Shatter Machine. We get Cope putting Mox in the deal. And then afterwards, Cope grabs a mic, says, Moxley, you look at me when I'm talking to you, kid. You were still growing pubes when I started doing this. You're mine. Rated FTR, we're taking it all. And then they got booked for a 6-man tag for Fight for the Fallen.
Yeah. So there you go. There's your World's End review. So, yeah. I didn't put up a question thread.
That's fine.
So no questions. We do have a super chat here from Tom Talks Rubbish. Says,
Hey,
just wanted to thank you for amazing content this year, for always making me smile, and for being so kind to me. Well, thank you, Tom. I hope you had a good 2024 as well. Yeah. Rorik the Red here, Friendo Club member, signed up as well, so he's going to be participating in the Big Blue Predictions Challenge. He's one of 500. Hopefully, that's right, man. Once we unveil the big prize, the big WrestleMania prize,
we might get 1,000.
Man, you're gonna be sitting here like JR on his phone, telling everybody, "Oh man, did you hear about what happened? They offered up the big prize."
The best part is he does this and looks at it again.
Oh man! Like on one hand, hey, what would be your ideal? Like with the people they got there now. What's your Dynamite 3-man announce team?
Nigel.
Yeah, agreed.
Taz.
Agreed.
And I guess Shivani.
Wow, no proper play-by-play guy. It's Riccaboni. You got to get Riccaboni.
Oh, I forgot about
there.
Ian. Yeah, Riccaboni. Yeah, Ian's
dude.
great.
Yeah, it's Riccaboni.
Yeah, it'd be Ian. It'd be Nigel, and be Taz. Yeah,
that's who it should be. Yeah,
I forgot about Ian.
Yeah, oh, he's good.
He's really good.
He is really good. Yeah, man. Yeah. I like Menard too. I think he's good.
Yeah, he's not bad.
You know, sometimes he gets talked over.
Look at Cody. Cody's the best. He's already got the January predictions thing.
What? He's the best. He's the
absolute best.
Anyway,
thank you, Cody.
So let's talk about the rest of the week. Tomorrow we've got a hot takes episode. Hot takes for 2025. We got
tomorrow's prediction is hot takes is Wednesday.
Oh, that's right. Or
tomorrow, we can flip it. Whatever you want to do.
Well, no, last day of the year is usual predictions. That makes sense. Yeah, no.
And then usually we have hot takes is Wednesday is hot takes day.
And then Wednesday is hot takes day. And then on Thursday, we're coming back for AEW NXT on Thursday?
Sure, we can do that.
Okay, we're doing that. And then, because it should be a pretty beefy AEW. Is there, what's going on? What's supposed to be going on?
I think they're going to go all out because of the simulcast with the Max. And the
that's right, the simulcast thing.
Raising money for Asheville, so.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Fight for, it's going to be a big deal. And then on Friday morning, the afternoon for a lot of people, I think 11 a.m. Probably noon. We'll do it at noon.
Sure.
The Friendo Awards. Yeah. Live, in person. You and I need to talk. We'll talk about that tomorrow, I guess, more. We need to get on the same page with these Friendo Awards, though.
I had an idea.
Okay, good. We'll see if it's the same one I had. Okay. But anyways, Friday, we're going to do our big Friendo Awards live for everybody. And then Friday evening, we'll be doing the SmackDown review. So, correct. Yeah, there you go. Tonight's Raw is like, I don't think we're going to review Raw this week. This is probably going to be the most phoned in Raw tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I'd be shocked if anything happens.
Has it already been taped? Do we know?
I don't know if this is a taped one.
Okay.
I think this is a live one.
Let me see let's give a quick Raw review here really quick. Let's see what's supposed to be happening tonight. Oh my God, there isn't even one on the .com. Let's see. What is it going to say?
All right. People are saying it's live from Houston. Planet Houston.
Planet Houston? Bro, there is no preview. At least on the .com. Yeah. It's going to be, Solo Sikoa says something. Yeah, I don't think jack shit's gonna happen. No, like a pre-film backstage with CM Punk, probably pre-film Seth Rollins interview.
Mm-hmm.
There's an Io Lyra match.
Yeah, it's for it's the semis for the Women's Intercontinental.
Holy shit, that's gonna be good. Can they just do 2 hours? They'll do like that for an hour.
So Jack Bauer must have some inside info. Says Otis versus Gable, 6-man tag, Priest, War Raiders versus Judgment Day. Sometimes they don't put the preview up on .com till later, but they'll have stuff on Twitter.
Boy, Priest is falling. He's hanging out with War. Did you watch Raw Monday last week?
I watched a little bit of it.
Did you see Priest and War Raiders backstage, like being friendly over the fact that they were all in Ring of Honor together? Yeah. A lot of honor between the three of us. Okay, we get it. Yeah. Hey, that Io versus Lyra, holy shit, that match is gonna
be good.
Oh boy, I'll watch that shit. Yeah.
Apparently, Jorge here says Punk is opening Raw. Wonder if he's gonna have the shower cap and towel.
That really needs. That's like such a We Book Raw gimmick.
It really is.
Like one of the characters just always, he's always caught in the shower. He has to run out for his match. That's the most We Book Raw.
Oh, it really is.
Anyways, the Bean says, I thought they wanted to give USA a good last Raw. Why bother? They're on Netflix. That's all they care about now.
Exactly.
Anyways, That's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you guys.